Peppa Pig just made a huge announcement about George. He's been diagnosed with moderate hearing loss. After 20 years of the show, George Pig is getting a storyline that's already making headlines, and it's one of the most important episodes Peppa Pig has ever made. We're talking about representation, real-life impact, and what the future holds for George. So today we're breaking down the biggest things coming to the new season of Peppa Pig, starting with George's diagnosis. Let's go! Peppa Pig is about to drop one of its most important episodes ever. In March 2026, George Pig is getting a storyline that millions of families around the world are going to relate to. And honestly, it's being done beautifully. George has moderate hearing loss in one ear. Developed in partnership with the National Deaf Children's Society, the episode is called Hearing Test, and it airs on March 9th on Channel 5's Milkshake and March 23rd on Nickelodeon. From the clips we've seen, it's sweet, gentle, and already making parents emotional. Here's how it goes down. Peppa, George, and their parents head to an audiologist for a hearing test. The audiologist explains the process. George wears headphones, and every time he hears a beep, he puts a block in a bucket. Then comes the diagnosis. George has moderate hearing loss in one ear, and the audiologist, voiced by someone very special, which we'll get to in a second, reassures Mummy and Daddy Pig that it's okay, that George has support, that this is nothing to worry about. George gets fitted with a bright blue hearing aid, and then comes the emotional moment.
Yeah, Peppa. What?
George says Peppa's name for the first time. Now, here's why this matters. Globally, 34 million children are deaf or hard of hearing, and 98% of parents say that seeing representation in kids' shows actually helps their families navigate these conversations. Now, about that audiologist. She's voiced by Jodie Ounsley, also known as Gladiator Fury. Jodie is profoundly deaf and was fitted with cochlear implants when she was just 14 months old. She said recording the episode felt personal because she imagined she was speaking to her own parents in that moment when she reassured Mummy and Daddy Pig that everything would be okay. And honestly, having someone like Jodie, successful, confident, thriving, voicing a character in Peppa Pig sends a powerful message to kids everywhere. But it doesn't stop with one episode. Peppa Pig is going all in. There's a new YouTube channel launching called Peppa Pig Sign Language for Kids, featuring both British Sign Language and American Sign Language. On February 6th, a special Peppa Pig Tales episode called George was released on YouTube, showing the world from George's audio perspective, and it's honestly quite emotional. The episode takes us through a typical day for George, but we hear what he hears. And right from the moment he gets out of bed at breakfast, you can see he's struggling to hear and understand what's going on around him. Sounds fade in and out, voices become muffled, his facial expressions show the confusion and effort it takes to keep up. Even in the car, when Daddy Pig calls, George doesn't hear him the first time. You can see it on his face. He's trying, but it's hard. At playgroup, Madame Gazelle is playing guitar for the class. All the children are sitting and listening, enjoying the music, but George can't hear it very well. He gets up and walks closer to the speaker, trying to hear better, but just as he reaches it, Madame Gazelle stops playing and tells him to take his seat. He looks disappointed. He's missed out on the music entirely. Throughout the day, you see George staying close to Peppa. She's there when he wakes up, she's by his side at playgroup, and she naturally helps him navigate moments he's struggling with, even though she doesn't realize yet that he's having trouble hearing. And while George is resourceful, you can see moments where things that seem simple for everyone else take a little more effort for him. It's a beautifully done episode that gives viewers a real glimpse into what life is like for children with hearing loss. New toys featuring George with his blue hearing aid are also launching in February and March, so kids can see themselves reflected in their playtime too. But here's what's exciting. This is just the beginning of George's journey. We're likely going to see more episodes exploring what it's like for George to navigate the world with his hearing aid. Maybe we'll see him at playgroup, learning alongside his friends. Maybe we'll see him at the playground, playing games with Peppa. Maybe we'll even see him teaching other kids about his blue hearing aid and why he wears it. George's story is just beginning, and we can't wait to see where it goes. After 20 years of Peppa Pig, we're finally getting something that has never existed before. A male sheep. Yes, you heard that correctly. In over 2 decades of Peppa Pig episodes, there has never been a single male sheep character. Not one. We've had Susie Sheep, her mom, Charlotte Sheep, other female sheep in the background, but never a boy sheep. Until now. In the Season 9 episode Sibling School, a gray sheep with dark magenta cheeks and a green shirt appears in the class. He's sitting with Peppa, George, and the other kids as they learn how to take care of babies. This was the episode where they were all preparing for baby Evie's arrival, and fans immediately immediately noticed, wait, is that a boy sheep? The community has dubbed him Barry Sheep, though that's not official yet. He's around 4 years old, the same age as Peppa, and he's also appeared in the episode Mystery Potato Movie. So he's not just a one-time background character, he's sticking around. But here's where it gets interesting. We have no idea who his family is. Is he Susie Sheep's brother? Some fans think so. And could this lead to the mystery of Susie Sheep's dad finally being resolved? Others speculate he's Charlotte Sheep's cousin. So is Barry Sheep about to introduce us to the first sheep family dad? Or is he part of a completely different sheep family we've never met? Either way, the fact that a male sheep has appeared in the sibling class learning about babies suggests something bigger is coming. Maybe we're finally getting a full sheep family reveal. Maybe Barry's gonna become a regular character. Maybe Susie's getting a little brother. Or maybe Peppa Pig just realized that after 20 years, it was time to prove that male sheep actually exist in this universe. Whatever the case, Barry Sheep is here, and honestly, it's about time. Remember Carol Cow, the character who mysteriously vanished for years, missed her own mother's wedding, and became Peppa Pig's greatest unsolved mystery? Well, she's back. In the recent episode, The Biggest Picture in the World, Carol Cow makes her return. She's spotted on the top floor of the shopping center with her mom, Mrs. Cow, looking down at Peppa and her friends as they create a massive mural. But here's the thing, a lot has changed since Carol disappeared. Her mom, Mrs. Cow, got married to Mr. Bull in a massive 3-part wedding episode. It was a huge deal. The whole town was there. Except Carol, she was completely missing from her own mother's wedding. But now that Mrs. Cow and Mr. Bull are officially married, Carol's suddenly back in the picture. So the question is, why now? Here's where the speculation gets fun. Carol reappears right after her mom gets married. She's shown with Mrs. Cow in a family setting. And if you know anything about how Peppa Pig handles major life events, like weddings, new siblings, and family expansions, you know they don't just throw characters back into the show for no reason. So what if Carol's return isn't random? What if Mrs. Cow and Mr. Bull are expecting a baby? Think about it. We've already seen this play out with Mummy Pig and baby Evie. Big announcement episode, preparation episodes, then the baby arrives and becomes part of the family dynamic. And if Mrs. Cow is pregnant, that would explain why Carol's back. She'd be preparing to become a big sister, just like Peppa did with George and now with Evie. It would also explain why the show is suddenly acknowledging her existence again after years of pretending she didn't exist. Now, to be clear, this is pure speculation. There's been no official announcement about a new bull cow baby, but Carol's return, right after the wedding, right as she's being reintegrated into family scenes, feels like it's setting something up. And honestly, after years of Carol being Peppa Town's biggest ghost story, it would be pretty perfect if her comeback were tied to welcoming a new sibling. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. But if a little baby cow with horns shows up in the new season, don't say we didn't call it. Here's something you might not have thought about. Peppa Pig is growing up, and when she does, someone has to take her place. Right now, Peppa and her friends have been in playgroup with Madame Gazelle for literally 20 years. At this point, Madame Gazelle has probably taught the same lessons approximately 4,000 times. But with baby Evie now in the picture, and Peppa getting older, there's a very real possibility that we're about to see a generational shift. Think about it. Evie is going to grow up. She's going to take her first steps, say her first words, and eventually she'll join playgroup. And when that happens, she won't be alone. And there's a whole younger generation waiting in the wings, ready to cause chaos. Remember when Mummy Rabbit was pregnant and gave birth to twins? That was back in season 5 in the episode Mummy Rabbit's Bump. Peppa and Rebecca even helped pick their names. Rosie if it was a girl, Robbie if it was a boy. Turns out Mummy Rabbit had both. Because of course she did. Rebecca Rabbit already had a younger brother, Richard, so why not add twins to the mix? They've been babies for a while now, but in recent episodes like The Petting Farm, they've started looking older and more capable of actually doing things, which means they're almost ready to join playgroup. Then there are Zuzu and Zaza Zebra, Zoe Zebra's twin little sisters. They're the same age as George, and they've already started attending playgroup in episodes like Parachute Games. They're energetic, playful, and a little bit cheeky. Basically, mini versions of Zoe, which means double the energy and double the chaos. Add them to the mix with Evie and the Rabbit twins, and Madame Gazelle's next class is going to be intense. So here's where it gets interesting. If Peppa and her friends eventually move up to elementary school, which feels inevitable given how the show has been evolving, Madame Gazelle will still have a class to teach. So the question isn't if this generational shift will happen, it's when. The younger generation is ready. Madame Gazelle, probably not. So there you have it. The biggest things coming to the new season. Peppa Pig isn't slowing down. After 20 years, the show is still evolving, still growing, and still finding ways to surprise us. So what do you think? Are you excited for these new storylines? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more Peppa Pig theories, hidden details, and breakdowns of what's coming next, make sure to subscribe. We've got plenty more where this came from. Thanks for watching.